welcome to our channel, Rite of
Passage.
I'm your host, Benedicta.
And I'm your co-host, Angela.
And today we're going to be talking about 6 reasons why parents shouldn't be their child's
best friend.
Bestie. And if you're joining us on the channel for the very first time, welcome to our channel. On this channel, we have conversations, heart-to-heart conversations between a mother and a daughter. And like I say, I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not an expert of any sort. This is just conversations, a genuine conversation
between a mother and daughter.
And let's get into it. So, do you like today's topic?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because even though I really love my mom, I do not want to be around her all the time.
Ouch. Well, even though I love you, I don't want to be around you all the time too. So the feeling is mutual. So yes, with that being said, I know that a lot of parents want to be their child's best friends, and they're gonna be they're gonna combat what we have to say today because they can't imagine what that looks like. But really, truly, I believe that a parent shouldn't be their child's best friend. The job of a parent is different, and the relationship between a parent and a child is different from the relationship you have between your friends. Yes. And without further ado,
let's get into it.
So the first reason why I believe a parent shouldn't be their child's best friend is, as a parent, you have to exercise your authority. And I say that because your job as a parent is to set boundaries and rules for your child. And boundaries are your children's best friend. If you don't establish enough rules and boundaries, it can lead to deeper issues and insecurities in the future. So yes, if you're your child's best friend, you cannot
you can't like make boundaries, because with your friend you can still make boundaries, and you can't enforce your friend to like follow your boundaries.
Smart.
But like with in a relationship with a parent and a child, as the parent, you should be able to enforce your child to follow the boundaries, or else there are going to be consequences.
Yeah, I agree. And just like you said, you can tell your friends, you can establish boundaries with your friends, but they can choose to respect those boundaries or not. And if they don't, over time you can decide to end that friendship.
Yeah.
If it's not serving you,
you can walk away.
You can walk away. But with a parent-child, you can't just easily walk away. Your job as a parent is to make sure your children grow up into responsible adults. And for them to do that, you have to have rules and boundaries and establish those. And doing that, you have to exercise your authority.
Yeah.
So I agree.
This leads us to the next point, which is your child is not your confidant. This just means that when you give your child certain information that they can't really handle yet, it puts a level of pressure on them, and it puts them in a difficult situation. I mean, there's some information that you can tell your children when they're at the right age, but once you tell them information that might be too much for them to handle, it can get like you can start to feel the pressure as the child.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree, because a lot of parents want to tell their kids everything they're going through. They want to talk to their kids like their kids are their friends. But at the end of the day, you don't want to burden your child with everything you're going through. You don't want to tell them everything you're going through. That's why they're kids, and that's why you are the adult or you're the parent. So you shouldn't burden your child with all those information. You should only give them information they can handle at a particular age. So I agree with that point. And this leads us to the third reason why parents shouldn't be their kids' best friend. I personally think that you should not involve your kids in your personal trauma.
Yeah, the trauma from your past.
Yeah, exactly, because Yeah, we've all been through traumas, we've all gone through things, and there's nothing wrong with sharing some of those things with your children, but just like the previous point, you can't dump everything you've been through on them. That's gonna that's gonna
that's gonna like affect them in the future.
Yeah, it's gonna,
because it's like you have trauma on you, like weighing you down, and then that trauma gets lifted from you because then you're putting it onto another person, which is not supposed to be your child, because that trauma is like weighing them down now.
Yeah, I agree, and yeah, totally. I think you said it all. I don't have anything to add to that, and also the other reason why I feel parents shouldn't be their kids' best friend. The number 4 reason is that it's just distracting. Plain distracting. Your job as a parent is to nurture your child and love them and be there for them, not trying to be their friends,
be their bestie,
because that is distracting from your actual job of being a parent, of nurturing them and loving them.
Then you're like focused on the wrong thing.
Exactly. It distracts you from your job or from your responsibility, what you're supposed to be doing, because when you're trying so hard for them to like you, you're not focusing on the things that you need to focus on as a parent to raise your kids, and so it distracts you from your job as a parent, in my opinion. So what do you think about that?
I think in that moment your child might not like you, but in the future, when they look back, they're like, oh, she actually did do that for a good reason. I see it now. Because I'm always like so mad at my mom when she disciplines me, and I'm like upset. I'm like, I'm never gonna talk to her again.
I know.
But then like 10 minutes later, we're literally hugging together, watching Netflix. So I feel like it's just an in the moment thing, but in the future it will definitely benefit you.
Exactly. And your kids are not always gonna like you, and that's fine. And that is what I think some parents struggle with. And even me, that I'm saying this, there are times that I also feel that way. I'm like, oh, she's not gonna like me, or he's not gonna like me. But I'm also aware that my job is to raise them to become responsible adults, and if what it's gonna take is for them not to like me in that moment, then I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. And kids know when you're when they're being disciplined from a place of love and care and concern. Kids know when you're not just being mean and wicked and difficult. They know when you truly love them and you're raising them in a way that's going to be beneficial for them and their future. They know and they can see it. Trust me, even though it doesn't feel that way, and sometimes you feel bad as a parent, and that's why I always say, even sometimes when I discipline you don't know that as a parent, even I feel it. When I maybe take your phone away, it also affects me. I also feel bad, but I know I'm doing it ultimately for your own good.
Yeah.
And it's something I need to do, even if you don't like me in that moment. So yeah, I agree.
Okay, this leads us onto the next point, which is your child needs to develop their own individuality.
I agree.
Kids need to experience what the world is like without their parents always being there. For example, let's say like I'm going to a job interview or something. I can't bring my mom with me on a job interview, or if I have a decision I need to make, I can't always be calling my mom and like, Mom, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Yeah. I need to learn how to make decisions that affect me, like on my own.
And there's nothing wrong with you getting advice from your parents when it gets to a particular stage in your life, but at the same time, you also need to develop your own individuality and be able to do. There are some adults that their parents follow them for job interviews. I'm telling you. But that's not what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, as it says in the Bible, in Galatians 4, it states, "But let every man prove his own work, and then he shall have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another."
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, which basically just means that as a kid, when you give your child that independence and let them figure things out of their own, they're going to be proud of themselves, and you're going to see the fruits of your labor, and you're going to see that, oh wow, my child really is maturing. She doesn't need me as much as I thought she did.
Yeah, I agree. You're your own individual. You have to grow into that person that you were made to be, and not just a shadow of your parents.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. I really like that one. And this brings us to the last point, why parents shouldn't be their kids' best friend, which is you shouldn't seek affirmations. Parents should not seek affirmations from their kids. The relationship between a child and a parent is that of a boss and what?
A boss and like a co-worker, employee.
Exactly. So yes, you're not seeking. You can imagine if you had a boss that every time that was gonna say, "Girl, what do you think about the shoes?" over time, or what do you think about my hair, or what do you think about this outfit? If you have a boss that is saying that over time, you're gonna feel a certain kind of way and maybe not respect them as much as you should.
Yeah.
Yes. So you shouldn't seek affirmation from your child. Your child can give
you a compliment from
or give you affirmations from time to time, but it's not their job to give you affirmations. And when parents try to make their kids their best friends, sometimes they end up doing that. Not to say that there are times that I don't wear an outfit and tell you how you think about it, but there are times that you're like, I don't know how I feel, but I still wear it anyway. At the end of the day, if I feel good about it, if I like it, but it's not your job to affirm me. That's something. If you need that, listen to words of affirmation, read words of affirmation, read your Bible, and remember everything God says about you, but it's not your child's job to affirm you. With all that leads to the conclusion of the 6 reasons why parents shouldn't be their children's best friend. And I will also want to add that there are 4 stages of parenting, and there's nothing wrong with you being your child's friend. It's just that there's a stage for that. There's a stage for you to be your child's friend. It reminds me of a book I read by is it Andy and Sandra?
Andy and Sandra Stanley.
Stanley, exactly. And if you're interested in reading the book, we're gonna add the link.
In the description.
In the description section. But yeah, it talks about the 4 stages of parenting, and I'm sure other people have written something or said something about the stages, but I'm just mentioning the one that I'm familiar with. And the first stage of parenting is from the age 0 to 5. That is a stage of discipline. Right. This is a stage where you discipline your children. You make them understand that the consequences for their action. If you touch that fire, you're gonna get burnt. If you go past this line, you're gonna fall down, things like that. You discipline kids from the age of 0 to 5, and I think I agreed with that stage of parenting.
Yeah.
And then the second stage of parenting, according to the book, which I also agree with, is from the age of 5 to I think 12 years, and this is the heavy lifting stage of parenting. This is the stage of training. This stage you're helping them to understand the what's behind the why. You're explaining things to them. You're helping them see that there are consequences for your actions. You're making them understand life in general. You're just training them about different things. This stage, from the age of 0 to 12, this is a foundation stage in parenting, and this stage is very, very important. This is not the stage of friendship. So some parents want to be their kids' friends at this stage. No, you're not their friends. You should be either disciplining them or training them from the age of 0 to 12. Don't miss this foundational stage. And the third stage of parenting is a stage of coaching, right? And this is the stage from 12 to
18 years
18. Old. Yeah, at this stage, you're kind of, what are you doing?
You're like stepping back a little and giving them an opportunity to like make their own mistakes.
Exactly. That, which is the stage you're in right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm stepping back a little bit, helping you to...
We're doing more connecting than correcting.
Ooh, I like that. Yes. We're doing more connecting than correcting, because the correcting should have taken place from the age of 0 to 12. Not that you're still not correcting, because you're still going to be a parent even when your kids are 50 years old or like they're adults. You're forever going to be a parent till sorry about that. You're forever going to be a parent till the very last till your very last breath. Sorry to say, but you're gonna step back a little bit and just let them start experiencing life, let them start making their own mistakes. And yeah, that's the third stage of parenting. And the last stage of parenting, which is our favorite topic, is friendship. That is when they are adults.
This is when they're like past 18 years old.
Yeah, and they're adults, they're 18 years and above. And at this stage, then you can be your child's friend, not best friend, but you can be very close. You can be close friends, and you're doing more of advising and asking them how you can help, but you're not still gonna enforce any rules. You're not gonna enforce that. You can advise them, but they don't have to follow your advice. You know, you can ask them if they need your help, and they can say no, and that's fine because they're adults.
Yeah.
And so they're
old enough to make their own decisions now.
Exactly. So that's a stage of friendship. But I see a lot of parents making the mistake of mixing up the stages and wanting to be their kids' best friends when they're teenagers, or then at the age of 18.
And then at the age of like 18,
they want to start,
when they're an adult, they want to start like disciplining them.
Yeah, that's too late. That's too late.
Too late.
That bus
has left.
Has left, right? Has left the bus stop. And not to say there's still no hope, but now it's in the hands of that child. If they want to change, you can't change someone. And if the people are already established in their ways, you can't change someone. Only God and themselves can change themselves, you know. So only when someone makes up their mind that, oh, I want to change, I'm willing to change, I'm ready to change, that's when they can change. No matter what you do, you can't change someone. So I hope that we've been able to, you know,
help you out.
Your pass across what we think and how we feel about the stages of parenting, and
6 reasons why parents shouldn't be their child's best friend.
And if for any reason you do not agree, you think parents should be their kids' best friend, I'm curious to know why you feel that way.
Type it in the comments.
Yes, just add it to the comment section. And if you feel there are other reasons why parents shouldn't be their kids' best friend that you'd like to share, we'd like to hear them, right?
Yeah.
And with that, this brings us to the end of our episode. We hope you enjoyed it. And until next time,
bye.
If you're new on this channel, if this is your first time watching us, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining the family.
Oh gosh. 3